So the next topic under rodenticide toxicity is vitamin D compounds toxicity. See, the first two rodenticides we have covered under organic rodenticides. The first one is anticoagulant and the fluoroacetate compound. So the third group of rodenticides are the vitamin D compounds. See, under vitamin D compound, we get two types of vitamin D compounds: ergocalciferol, called as vitamin D2, and cholecalciferol, vitamin D3. So among D2 and D3, so D3 is very commonly used rodenticide, and toxicity wise also the vitamin D3 is more toxic than the vitamin D2. So the majority of the rodenticide toxicity attached to vitamin D, it is to do with the vitamin D3 toxicity. So they are very commonly used as place packs. See, what do you mean by place packs? So in the inhabitant area of the rodents, so where the rodents live or where the rodents frequently visit, so in that places generally they used to keep these vitamin D compounds, so that's why they are called as place packs. And how we get this vitamin D2 and D3? So we get this ergocalciferol and cholecalciferol by irradiating the ergosterol and dehydrocholesterol respectively. See, ergosterol, it will undergo irradiation to form ergocalciferol. So similarly, dehydrocholesterol, it undergoes irradiation to form cholecalciferol. So the toxicokinetics of vitamin D compounds. See, vitamin D compound, it is given through, it will be taken through the oral route, so going to the GIT. So in the GIT, in presence of lipid and the bile, so the absorption of vitamin D compound will be more. Then they will go into the circulation. So in the circulation, as such, this vitamin D compound, ergocalciferol and cholecalciferol, as such they are inactive. So they need activation. So where this activation occurs? This activation occurs in the liver and the kidney. So what kind of activation? See, vitamin D2, ergocalciferol, when it goes to the liver, it gets converted into 25-hydroxy ergocalciferol or 25-hydroxy vitamin D2 in the liver, and then it will enter the kidney. So in the kidney, it will get converted into 125-dihydroxy ergocalciferol or 125-dihydroxy vitamin D2, and this 125-dihydroxy ergocalciferol and 25-hydroxy ergocalciferol, they are the active metabolites of the vitamin D2 and they will bring down the toxicity. So similarly, cholecalciferol. See, cholecalciferol, first it will get converted into 25-hydroxy cholecalciferol in the liver, then it will enter the kidney, then formed into 125-dihydroxy cholecalciferol. So 25-hydroxy cholecalciferol, it is also called as calcifediol, and 125-dihydroxy cholecalciferol, it is also called as calcitriol. So among these D2 and D3 compounds, this calcitriol is the most potent metabolite and it is very much important in case of bone resorption. So what do you mean by this bone resorption? So it is to do with the mechanism of toxicity of this vitamin D compound that will be coming in the next mechanism of action topic. So time being, calcitriol, it is one of the potent vitamin D metabolite that causes bone resorption. So this ergocalciferol and cholecalciferol, they need activation. So they need activation in the liver and the kidney to form active metabolites, and those active metabolites are the one that causes toxicity. Then mechanism of action. See, normal function of vitamin D compounds in the body. See, normal function of vitamin D compound in the body, you know, it is to maintain the normal calcium level in the body. See, the primary purpose of vitamin D compound is to maintain the calcium homeostasis in the body. So to increase the calcium level in the blood or in the circulation. So how it will increase the calcium level in the circulation? Either by increasing the absorption of the calcium from the GIT or by bone resorption of the calcium. So it will take out the calcium from the bone, so it will not ensemble the calcium into the bone, so they will take out whatever the calcium present in the bone. So the process we call it as bone resorption, opposite to the absorption, bone resorption of the calcium, and increasing the calcium reabsorption from the kidney. So rather than excreting out the calcium, so increases the reabsorption of calcium from the kidney. So by these three processes, so you can increase the calcium level in the circulation. So that is done by this vitamin D compound. So these are all normal mechanism that is going on in the body. So what happens whenever there is vitamin D toxicity? So that will be the mechanism of toxicity of vitamin D compound. So what will happen in the toxicity? So vitamin D rodenticide toxicity, this normal function, it will be exacerbated. So exacerbated, or so this function will be, it will be, the normal function will be, its potential will be higher in this case. So what will happen? So that will lead to an higher amount of accumulation of calcium in the blood. It might lead to the hypercalcemia. So as a result of hypercalcemia, see, the normal function is to maintain the calcium level in the blood. Whenever there is toxicity, it increases an high amount of calcium accumulation in the blood. So that will become hypercalcemia. When there is such a high amount of accumulation of calcium in the blood, so that excess calcium that will get deposited in the soft tissues. So what are those soft tissues? Get deposited mainly in the kidney, blood vessels, heart and lungs. So once it get deposited in the soft tissues, slowly the soft tissues become calcified. See, once soft tissue becomes calcified, it will decrease the functional capacity of those soft tissues. So along with that, there is a bone rarefaction. So bone rarefaction is there. Along with that, soft tissue calcification is there. See, weakening of bone is there because you are resorbing. So there will be resorption of bone from the bone, the resorption of calcium from the bone. And meanwhile, there is a calcification of soft tissue. So these two things are very important, which causes toxicity due to vitamin D compound. See, for example, calcification of soft tissue, see, heart. So whenever there is calcification of heart tissue, what will happen? See, the normal contractile mechanism of the heart will be waned off. So there will be decrease in the functional capacity. It cannot pump the enough amount of blood. So its functional capacity will be hampered. So similarly, blood vessel. See, either a small artery or a large vessel like aorta or small renal arteries, there will be vasoconstriction. So whenever there is vasoconstriction, obviously attached to that there will be hypertension, and also it will decrease the blood supply to the vital organ. See, there is a vasoconstriction, decreasing the blood supply to the vital organ. Coupled with, there is an decreased heart pump also. So these two mechanisms, it will obviously decrease the entire blood supply to the vital organs. So that will damage. So this is also one of the mechanism of toxicity of vitamin D compound. Then next soft tissue, kidney. So there will be calcium deposition. So there will be direct calcification of the soft tissue. Coupled with, there is a vasoconstriction. See, there is a vasoconstriction of smaller renal arteries. So whenever there is vasoconstriction of smaller renal arteries, I told you there is a decreased blood supply to the vital organ. One such vital organ is the kidney. Kidney is affected with the calcification, and also it is affected with the blood supply to the organ. So because of which there will be renal ischemia. So decreased blood supply. Because of which there will be degeneration, there will be necrosis of the renal tubule. So overall, there will be decrease in the functional capacity of the vital organ due to calcification of soft tissue. Coupled with, there will be bone rarefaction. So there will be resorption of calcium. Slowly the bone will become weakened. And death mainly due to hypercalcemia and calcification of the tissues. So the major organs which get affected are the heart and the kidney. So due to renal and artery failure, there will be death of the animal. And since this mechanism takes time, onset of action generally it will take 4 to 5 days. The lethal signs, it will start showing after 4 to 5 days. So whereas the initial clinical sign, it will start 36 to 48 hours after ingestion of the rodenticide. What are those clinical signs? So there will be lethargy, depression, polyuria, polydipsia. Polydipsia, important feature in case of vitamin D toxicity. Then as calcium concentration rises, the clinical signs will become much more severe, and there will be showing of signs related to the renal failure. So the GIT smooth muscle excitability will be decreased. So the contraction pattern of GIT smooth muscle will be decreased. Then there will be anorexia, vomition, then constipation will be there. Then emetemesis will be there, hemorrhagic diarrhea. And animals, they can't walk properly. They will show the tumbling movements. So they will tumble. So so it will show a tumbling movements. So these are some of the clinical signs due to vitamin D toxicity. So then there will be vasoconstriction attached to that hypertension, then cardiovascular related insufficiency, then there will be renal insufficiency. The two major organs damaged are the kidney and the heart. And the postmortem findings, you will see petechia in the tissues, myocardial degeneration plus necrosis, renal degeneration plus necrosis. Coupled with, you can also appreciate chalky white deposition in case of heart as well as in the kidney. When you cut open the kidney, you might see the chalky white deposition. Then diagnosis through history, clinical sign, and there will be hypercalcemia. If you check the calcium level in the blood, there will be hypercalcemia, much more than the normal calcium content. Then renal calcium content will also be increased. Blood urea nitrogen will be increased. Creatinine level will be increased. Then treatment, what will be the rationale here? Since the culprit here being the hypercalcemia, so more accumulation of calcium in the blood, so you have to lower the calcium level. So for that, several treatment regimen you can follow. So you can give corticosteroid, a combination of corticosteroid and the Salman calcitonin. So why we need to give corticosteroid? Corticosteroid, generally it will decrease the osteoclastic activity. So what do you mean by osteoclastic activity? The same thing, the bone resorption, the calcium resorption from the bone is also called as osteoclastic activity. So corticosteroid decreases the calcium resorption from the bone, and corticosteroid decreases the intestinal absorption of the calcium, and corticosteroid increases the excretion of the calcium. So as a result, the calcium level in the blood will be decreased. So cortisone you can use, hydrocortisone you can use, prednisolone you can use. And along with corticosteroid, so we generally use this Salman calcitonin. So Salman calcitonin, so it is not a natural preparation, so it is a synthetic preparation of the calcitonin. So what is its role? It also decreases the bone resorption, decreases the reabsorption of the renal calcium, and it is a adjunctive therapy with the corticosteroids. Generally corticosteroids are given in combination with Salman calcitonin. Along with that, very commonly given treatment regimen during vitamin D toxicity is pamidronate. So pamidronate, so nowhere we give this pamidronate in any other toxicity. We give this pamidronate exclusively for vitamin D toxicity as far as toxicity is concerned. So other mineral deficiency things, other things we give pamidronate, whereas as far as toxicity is concerned, pamidronate is given exclusively for vitamin D toxicity. See, pamidronate, it is a biphosphonate compound. What is its major role? It inhibits the bone resorption. So it decreases the calcium uptake from the bone. So it inhibits the bone resorption. And what is the advantage of using pamidronate over Salman calcitonin is its duration of action is more than the Salman calcitonin, and it can be used alone. So no need to use pamidronate along with the corticosteroid. So you can use pamidronate alone. So what is its dosage? 1.3 to 2 milligram per kg, slow IV with normal saline. So 0.9% will be there. So with normal saline, you can dilute this pamidronate given in this dosage. And another thing, the vitamin D toxicity, see, not concerned with the rodenticide. See, vitamin D toxicity, it also occur due to ingestion of some toxic plant which contain vitamin D3. So those plants are golden oat grass, Cestrum diurnum, Solanum nigricans. So these are some of the plants which contain vitamin D3. So that lead to some condition called as enzymatic calcinosis and Manchester wasting disease. So the clinical sign, mechanism of action, it is similar to this vitamin D rodenticide toxicity, whereas here the vitamin D toxicity is happening due to the ingestion of the toxic plants which contain the vitamin D3. So it is a general thing, so you should be aware of this. Sometimes the question might also be picked from this thing and they will put it in the question paper. So that's why I'm including this also. Then the treatment, the other treatment regimens are the fluid therapy. So you can go for the fluid therapy with normal saline. Along with that, you can give the diuretic. So the preferred diuretic is the furosemide. So fluid therapy, you can go for normal saline. See, in general fluid therapy, what is most preferred in vitamin D toxicity is normal saline. Normal saline does not contain any electrolytes, right? Apart from sodium and chloride, so it doesn't contain any other electrolyte. So normal saline we give along with diuretic furosemide. So it increases the calcium excretion. So the assignment question number 1. So the assignment question number 1 is, why thiazide diuretic is not preferred in vitamin D toxicity? Why we are preferring furosemide? Why we are preferring a loop diuretic over a thiazide diuretic? The next treatment, emesis gastric lavage and activated charcoal. Okay, the assignment question 2. Assignment question 2 is, vitamin D2 is more toxic than vitamin D3. True or false? Okay. And this vitamin D toxicity increases both calcium and phosphorus level in the blood. True or false? So you read and answer this question. So whether it increases both calcium and phosphorus level, you read and answer for this question.